Hi, welcome back to another Crypto Day video. It's Tuesday, which means another Masternode Shootout update video. This is for week 42, and as always, before we jump into the figures, just to make you aware of any changes, and there's just been one change this week, and it's an issue with the Vulcano Masternode. So I woke up this morning, I'd received some messages that my Vulcano Masternode had expired and then gone missing. So I tried to restart it just from the kind of wallet with no success. I logged into the VPS and there were kind of issues. I couldn't get sort of get it up and running again. So I'm just currently doing a refresh of the Masternode. There's a single line kind of a command that you can kind of run. I think a lot of Masternodes that were based on the Bulwark sort of code have this kind of line in, so you can run this kind of refresh script and it should bring everything back up and running. So it's currently downloading the blockchain, so it downloads a bootstrap of the blockchain, and it's currently just resyncing the blockchain from scratch. So all the blocks are now resyncing at the moment, so hopefully it should be back up in the next hour or so, but it may affect us next week. It went down some point last night. I don't know if it was yesterday late at night or early hours of today, but it may well affect us a little bit going into next week, so we might have lost maybe 12 hours or so of uptime here with the Vulcano Masternode. But that's the only kind of change or kind of issue this week. To be fair, all of these kind of Masternodes have run pretty successfully and pretty stably for the last few months. Certainly for, I think probably the last 3 months haven't had any real issues at all. So these things can happen from time to time. Occasionally you might get maybe a memory error if you're running a VPS without a lot of kind of RAM. Then you can have some issues with that. Occasionally the actual physical server that the VPS sits on might be rebooted, or there might be some downtime because of that, and then the Masternode might not come back up when the server's kind of rebooted. So these things do happen from time to time, but excuse me, not that frequently, luckily. So we don't have to worry really on a kind of weekly basis. Anyway, let's jump straight in and have a look at the figures for the last week, and we start with Vulcano at the top of the list here. 802 coins worth 66 cents, 51 Bulwark worth 60 cents, 251 Helix worth 77 cents. Really good performance from Helix this last week. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. 12,800 Metrix, so only 4 payouts this week rather than 5, which we usually get. So the figure's down a little bit for Metrix this week, $2.06. 337 SmartCash worth 97 cents. And finally, nothing for Syndicate. Obviously, I've talked ad nauseum about the fact that the Masternode is no longer kind of running. It's been down for about 4 to 6 weeks, I would say now. So that's a grand total this week of $5.06. If we jump over to the chart, you can see we're stuck in this kind of like $5–5.5 kind of range, somewhere between sort of $5 and $6. We have been for the last 4 weeks. This last week, a little bit unlucky with the Metrix kind of payout, so one less than we would normally expect, which pushed it down a fraction, but a pretty decent week from Helix. And I want to talk a little bit more about Helix. So if we look at the positions of the coins, nothing's changed since last week, but the percentage return for Helix up massively. So we're up 89% percentage return so far this year. So that's a mixture of price increase. And if we look back here, this column here is the price of each of these Masternodes as of the 1st of January at the beginning of the year, and this is the price of them today. Now if you look at the overall amount, you can see here $3,600 basically down to $925. So we've seen massive falls in price, particularly for kind of Bulwark here. Vulcano's lost 75%, just more than that percent. SmartCash has gone down hugely. Metrix probably down about 40–45%, and Syndicate pretty much lost all its value, down from $133 to $4. But the overall amount is really down to kind of Bulwark and SmartCash losing quite a lot because they were the most expensive Masternodes. Helix, on the other hand, was by far our cheapest, only cost us $31 at the beginning of the year. I did have a number of Helix Masternodes running throughout kind of the year at various times, but the value today, nice to see that that's increased a little bit. So it's gone from $31 up to $35, so that's a few percent increase there in the actual kind of price, as well as obviously the rewards from the Masternode kind of payout. So nice to see Helix doing well, up 88, almost 89% so far this year. It's the only Masternode again this week that's in positive territory. Metrix is now about 12.5% down. overall so far this year. It's dropped a reasonable amount over the last few weeks. Had quite a strong run sort of 2 to 3 months ago, and it was vying with Helix. The two of those coins were in first and second position, often changing positions on a weekly basis. But Helix has for the last sort of 3 weeks, I think 3 or 4 weeks, been strongly ahead of kind of Metrix. Metrix now down in negative territory. Vulcano in third position, no changes in the actual positions this week. Syndicate still in fourth position, still hanging on to that despite the fact we're not receiving Masternode kind of payouts. 69% down, SmartCash 70% down, and Bulwark, which has been the worst performer ever since, probably from about 3-4 weeks into the experiment when the development team walked out. So 77% down overall so far this year. Overall we're down 54%, so it's been a pretty poor performance by a lot of these kind of masternodes. But congratulations to Helix for such a tiny small cap coin. It's the one that a lot of people would have thought, and myself included, at the beginning of the year, if you had to pick one coin that would just disappear, it would be Helix, because it was such a new project. But it's done really well. So huge congratulations to Helix. It has been battling back and forth with kind of Metrix, but it's now solidly in #1 position. It's been in #1 position for many weeks throughout the year, and certainly in the more recent weeks in #1 position. So congratulations to Helix. Commiserations to Bulwark. Nothing's really changing here. SmartCash as well, massively kind of down 70% plus, and this is a project that hasn't had really big kind of issues or anything like that. Obviously Bulwark lost its development team, then with Cryptopia disappearing, lost pretty much all its trading volume. But even without that, SmartCash down over 70% year to date. So really poor performance from SmartCash. Hopefully Metrix makes a little bit of a recovery in the next few weeks. It's still only down 12.5% so far this year, so plenty of time for that to kind of come back a bit. And who knows, if we have a run up in the last kind of quarter, you could even see something like kind of Vulcano coming back to kind of parity, something like that. But anyway, thanks very much for watching as always. Leave me your comments below. It's always nice to hear from you, and hopefully I will see you on the next video. Have a great day. Bye bye.